Lightbringer.
The Ninja Warriors.
Mission accomplished.
But peace did not come. Because the Ninja Warriors are the immortal murder machines.
Ho! 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 Ha 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 ha!
Those who have tampered with the sacred ark are doomed.
Rhina is given speed up. Rhina is given speed up.
这个笨蛋，只要有空中战舰发入肉，世界就是我们的。サバラにそんな玩具は必要ない。
Buka biki. Hankaman kamu. Hankaman kamu.
Mayday, mayday. We've been hit. We're losing altitude. We're going down. Number 1 engine out. Oh, I can't control this thing. Number 2 engine out. God, I can't control this. Roger, Angel 1. Use caution. VC could be hiding anywhere.
忍者龍剣伝どすこいどすこい
世に武士道というものあり。サムライスピリッツゼロスペシャル。妖怪腐れゲド対ナポル。いただきます。絶命勝利。